gentlemen, I am Ethan.
And I'm Bryan.
And welcome to our Hawkeye TV show review and synopsis podcast. Yay, this is the final MCU show of the 2021 season for them. And we're recording this in 2022.
Yep.
Because Kevin Feige still does not know what a calendar is and still has not given us a release date for any of the 2022 shows, and we are anxious.
Mm-hmm. We barely have release dates for the movies.
Before we begin listening to our podcasts and discussion of this show, please go watch the show yourself, because we're going to be discussing spoiler-heavy content within this video, just like we do with all of our other videos. If you're new to the channel, because it's 2022, welcome. Hello. Hi. We're glad to have you here. Please hit that like and please hit that like and subscribe button so you can get up to date with all of our movie, TV show, gaming content, what have you. Clickbait. So how it's going to work, basically just like almost all of the other TV shows that MCU has produced in this last year, the TV shows are basically just an extended cut of a movie chopped up into 6 parts. That's basically how we've been describing it. So Hawkeye follows that same formula. And what we're going to do is discuss each episode scene by scene for about 12 minutes each. We'll have a timer on us. If it goes over on that, just whatever. Just bear with us. The timestamps will be in the description below, like always. If you just want to hear specific coverage of like episode 2 or 4 before 1 and 3.
For whatever reason.
For whatever reason. Yeah, my favorites are 2 and 6.
I don't know, I'm very impartial to 3 and 4.
Alrighty, so with that said, let us begin the time on episode 1, Never Meet Your Heroes. Alright, Bryan, why should we never meet our heroes?
Alrighty, so episode 1 starts not in present day, whatever year we're in, 2023, 2024 at this point. I don't know.
It could be like it's the Christmas time, so it could be transitioning to the new year, you know?
Yeah. New year, not a new calendar. Anyways. Anyways. Sorry.
I understood that reference.
So we don't start in present day. Instead, we start all the way back, not to the blip, but to 2012.
The first Avengers movie.
10 years ago. Jeez.
Oh my god.
I know.
The new 10 turning 10.
The new 10-year mark.
Okay.
So we start back in 2012 and we see the attack on New York, but this time from a young child's point of view. It starts off just as any other normal day for this child. We see her mother and her father all meandering about the house.
Kind of a lavish house too.
Yeah, no, definitely rich.
As we'll see throughout the episode, this family is rich people.
Yes. Can't relate.
Does that mean anything in the grand scheme of things? Not really.
No. But yeah, so kind of lavish New York apartment house place. And then boom, attack. Dad dies. Because it's a Marvel origin story / Disney film.
Exactly. Yeah. We
gotta meet that quote, everybody. Gotta check the marks.
Live the king.
Look, it's a 50-50 chance. Either dad or mom. Someone's gotta go. But yeah, so the Avenger attack happens. Dad dies. And little Kate Bishop, that is one of our main characters. We see her looking out into the destruction that is happening, and we see the scene of Hawkeye fending himself when he had like little to no arrows.
Hawkeye, wait, you're leaving? Well, yeah, I mean, I need my arrows. It's kind of my thing, right? You guys got this.
How many arrows did you bring?
All of them, like 11.
11?
11? There are 100,000 aliens out there. And I killed 11 of them. You're welcome.
We then get our title sequence, which the title sequence...
like, it's been changing, like, every single episode, right? It's not the same one every single episode.
I think it changes very slightly in some places, but in the first episode, I feel it's the most important, because it's kind of what shows us the growing up of Kate Bishop. We kind of get her story told to us through the opening credits. like of what happened in between the Avengers attack and today, where we see her like train in martial arts. We see her train just with bows in general as we start seeing her improve over time, till we eventually see her in modern day. So we see her in present day New York with Spider-Man swinging in the background. I love those jokes that people have been making where it's just Spider-Man swinging in the background watching Hawkeye fight Kingpin on the side. But yeah, no, so we see...
He's going to swing on the Rockefeller train and it fucking collapses.
Right. No, because we see it in the background at the end of the film. But yeah, so we through the title sequence we see her growing up until present day, where we see her in at like some school.
She's I don't know if they explicitly said it's like a prestigious university or whatever, but I assume so because rich people.
I would assume so because I mean obviously she's on like some form of school grounds. And she's with like her like
archer buddies, or
I don't think they're archer buddies. I think they're like fraternity sisters.
Fraternity sisters. Yeah.
I think that's who they are. However, because of her archery background, she probably got like an archery scholarship or something, or maybe this is like an archery centered school. Who knows? But she is here, and she's doing. I don't remember if it was like a dare or a bet or something.
I think she just wanted to prove something about herself or something.
I don't know. But we see her get on to like one of the she tells her fraternity sisters to like watch out for guards as she goes to like shoot this bell tower.
I'm gonna do it, guys. Don't watch me. I do it. Then it fucking destroys.
Yeah, no, okay, so she does it once and she misses, and then she yells down to her fraternity sisters and she's like, "Hey, do you think it'll break?" And they're like, "Nah, you're fine." She fires again and the whole thing comes crumbling down. And you know her family's rich when in the argument scene her mother's just like, "Yeah, no, I'll take care of it. Just try to be careful next time."
Bro, the bell, since it's a bell that hadn't been used in forever, she essentially just did the metaphor of taking a shit in the display toilet.
Right? No, and like again, you know they're rich when in the argument scene of like her arguing with her mom over this happening, her mom's just like, "Listen, I'll take care of it. Just don't do this next time." Like, yeah. That is how you know they're rich. Which, speaking of her mother is actually doing really well in the 12-ish years.
11 to 12 years since
the father's death.
Yeah, so she's widowed, and so, like, yeah, dating with French-Italian guy, question mark?
Yeah. He's actually the actor himself is Mexican American.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay. From what I saw, I believe. I mean, I'll look up his IMDb later. But yeah. So yeah, mom's doing great because I believe they say that she like took over the father's company.
Yeah, and it's like a security company.
Yeah, it's a security company. So Ring, basically.
With Ring, video doorbell.
Yeah. And so, yeah, again, she's doing really well for herself, and Kate's kind of like this not really rebellious teenager, more rebellious...
20-something. Rebellious 20. Like, she still lives with Mama for whatever reason.
No, she
lived on the campus, didn't she? Then she got expelled. Yeah, because of the bell thing.
And then she got her own place, but it's not as lavish.
It's not as lavish, no.
And
like a part of the thing is here, like Kate doesn't exactly like being part of the rich people establishment. I guess they don't really delve into that much more than that.
Yeah, it's kind of just like implied that she doesn't want to be as rich and lavish as her mom.
Right.
But yeah. Now, for the title character, Hawkeye.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that guy.
Yeah.
See, I was right. He would never get his own movie.
Honestly, this was just what Black Widow was trying to do, but done better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Of being a solo film while also setting up a future superhero. This show, in my opinion, just does it better, probably because they had more time.
Do you think Black Widow and Hawkeye should have been the other way?
Yeah. But yeah, so we first see Hawkeye in the show watching not even Avengers the musical, it's Rogers the musical.
Rogers the musical.
They gave Captain Rogers the Hamilton treatment. Except instead of rap, it's just your traditional musical theater. Which, fun fact, a lot of the actors that appear in this musical number are actual Broadway actors.
Oh yeah, really?
And professional actors and singers. They're not just people that they hired. These are actual people who have Tony Awards to their names and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they had shut down a specific theater in New York just to put on that show.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't be surprised either. But yeah, so we see that we see that Clint has a hearing aid. He definitely has a lot of PTSD and grief. A lot of guilt over what happened. Not necessarily for the events of the attack on New York in Avengers 1, but more so for the grief and guilt towards Natasha and her death. Because he still feels like he should have been the one to die.
I think we said this when we did Endgame. It's I want to kill myself. No, I want to kill myself.
Yeah, no, he still very much has a lot of survivor's guilt, and so when he sees Black Widow's character on stage, he turns down his hearing aid. He even steps outside because he needs a minute. And something that I do like about this show is the family part of it when it comes to Hawkeye. I do like the family stuff, and the reason why is because I like seeing a superhero's day, life outside of being a superhero.
And out of the 6 original Avengers, he's the only one with a family like that.
Yeah, he's the only real one with a family that he can just go out and visit. And he's also the only one out of the the founding members to not really have any powers. He's just really good with a bow and arrow.
Yeah, Black Widow, but
yeah, I know Black Widow too. But I mean, she's kind of died.
I kick people.
I kick people. I can electrocute you.
Great, so can I.
And so we do see a lot of the family bonding in here. In fact, the next scene that we see Hawkeye in is literally him at dinner with his family. And he wants to go pay the check, but the restaurant's thank you for your service, and they give they give the meal to him for free.
Because you saved the city, you're a hero. I think some of the messages that he's being called a hero by the public and everyone, then so on throughout with Kate Bishop, but then the deeper, darker side of that is he's Ronin, and he killed a lot of people kind of mercilessly for about 5 years.
And I think that's where a majority of the PTSD part comes from. Is he has PTSD from being Ronin, and then he has a lot of survivor's guilt for Natasha. What's going on?
Yeah, basically the entire plot of Hawkeye revolves around the Ronin suit.
Yeah.
Or just the Ronin persona, just generally, and dealing with the consequences of the Avengers Endgame thing that happened with Ronin between the 5 years that happened.
So we see Kate in a suit at this gala that her mother was invited to come to.
Yeah.
We see her. Kate's mom's fiance. Jack Duquesne.
Oh no,
he has a mustache. Bad guy. Mephisto.
it's Mephisto.
So we meet Jack Duquesne.
And the big point here is that they're about to wed, he and the mother. Mm-hmm. He's engaged. Oh
and
no.
Kate doesn't like that.
Mm-mm.
You're not around. Who cares? She even
had that feeling before the murder mystery thing.
Mm-hmm. And we meet some other characters like Armand the Third. We meet this little brat who's part of the
Armand 7.
Yeah, this is a family of Armands.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, the little brat. Oh my god. So we see Kate eventually goes out for some fresh air, and then she sees Armand and Armand the Third,
Armand 3,
and Jack as they go into like this like secret area.
Yeah, there's a secret area underground where they're holding like black market auctions.
Mm-hmm. And so Kate decides to follow them. And she like pretends to be a waiter. She's like, listen, I got this now. Go. I talked to the boss man. And then like later in the scene, the boss man comes and it's like, who gave you permission to be down here? The boss man. I am the boss. Oh shit.
You don't even know me, Gary. That was kind of funny. Like Kate Bishop, as she's like introduced, she's very swift.
Yeah.
With her personality, like movements and personality, I would say.
And yeah, so she follows them into this black market auction, and we see a few like Avengers items, and then we see like this watch,
which becomes kind of important later.
It does become kind of important later,
for whatever reason.
And then we see the Ronin. We first see the Ronin sword, the collapsible. Which Armand the Third buys. First we see Armand and Jack arguing over it. Jack wants it. Armand wants it. Armand eventually gets it. And then the Ronin suit comes up. And then right as the Ronin suit comes up, boom, crash. Explosion goes off. We see a whole bunch of these guys
in matching pajamas.
Nine.
Are you wearing pajamas?
These aren't pajamas. This is a warm-up suit.
What are you warming up for?
Stuff.
What sort of stuff?
Super cool stuff you wouldn't understand.
Like sleeping?
They are not pajamas!
They steal the Ronin suit. Or no, they don't steal the Ronin suit.
They're just there for like get whatever
they're there for the watch.
They're there for a watch.
They're there for the watch. Kate gets the Ronin suit and is able to put it on, and then everyone thinks that she's the Ronin. During all this kerfuffle, Jack eventually gets a hold of the Ronin sword, and everything goes to shit. Kate is able to fend off the track. They're called the track suits. That's the name of the gang. She's able to fend them off for a little bit, and then eventually is able to get out into the street, where Hawkeye comes in and saves them.
Oh boy. It's like Hawkeye saw on the TV that Ronin's back, but wait, I'm Ronin.
Yeah.
That's not possible. And so that basically ends episode 1.
Oh wait. One more thing. Kate does eventually find her way into Armand III's house because she wants to go like confront him, I think. I don't remember exactly what her motivation was for going here. But she goes and she sees Armand III dead by sword. Oh no! Bum bum bum.
And we had a camera shot of someone who took the sword earlier. There are a lot of swords in this film. Oh, it's Jack. That piece of crap. Mephisto.
So yeah, that ends episode 1.
Alrighty then.
Episode 2.
Episode 2, which came out on the same day as episode 1 because Kevin Feige does not know what a calendar is.
Gotta meet our deadlines.
Episode 2, Hide and Seek. So what are we hiding from and what are we seeking?
I don't know, I just want to play the game.
Alright, so it's Clint and Kate here. They're finally talking with one another, and since Kate has this big fascination with Hawkeye ever since the dad died. essentially, yeah. It's just like, oh my god, you're Hawkeye. This is the biggest day in my life. Oh boy.
She brings him to her apartment, which has its own like loft area inside, and I'm just like, you really are a rich bitch. Did they get the dog in this episode, or was it in last episode?
I think it was this episode. Did I not write it down?
Apparently not. I don't think.
Oh, I guess I didn't care about this show.
Which the dog's name, they do have the comic book name is Lucky.
Oh yeah.
I don't remember if they named him Lucky in the show, but that's the dog's
All
name.
I've seen in the advertisements is like it's Pizza Dog
It's Pizza Dog.
because Kate is not rich enough to buy a.
Because Pete doesn't.
Buy dog
Because
food.
Kate doesn't know how to take care of an animal.
Because she doesn't know how to buy dog food, so she just eats pizza. Makes him eat pizza, yeah.
So yeah. So.
Oh yeah, it was because of that in the last episode, Ronin saved the dog. But like, Ronin kills people.
So so they go back to Kate's place, and they talk a little bit, and Hawkeye's like, "Look, give it back," and she's like, "No."
Can you sign my bow?
Yeah, no, she's like she's like starstruck towards him, and he's like taking this seriously because he doesn't want to die.
Well, like that, and he's very miffed because another thing about Hawkeye throughout this entire thing is that he wants to finally spend a Christmas with his family because he hasn't done that in so long, like so long, like not during the like 2012 onward.
Yeah. Especially since for 5 years his family was just gone.
Exactly. So he's trying to spend one Christmas with them, just at least one. Especially now that like he's retired, like retired, not like Infinity War retired.
Yeah, no, he's no longer a war criminal.
Yeah. So he's been trying to do that, but since this Ronin thing happened, like just a couple days before Christmas, he's like, "Oh no, I have to do this." I have to sell things out, and I finally have to burn the Ronin alter ego altogether.
Which honestly, that does give us a real one of the best things about the show is that it gives us a clear, concise timeline. That this is straight up just like, because each episode is essentially like a day, leading up to Christmas. Because the end of the show is like on Christmas or like the day after.
Yeah.
So it's a very clear and concise timeline, but at the same time, I'm like, how the hell was this able to happen in like 4 days?
A lot of things happen in an hour.
Yeah, that is true. So eventually, the Tracksuit Mafia
coming in to ambush the place. The Ronin suit gets left behind in the burning building. So then it was like Hawkeye, like Clint and Kate, kind of split up, like go away from one another, and Kate drops herself off at her aunt's place because you can't go back to the apartment now. So yeah, like Clint tries to go back inside the burning building like 30 minutes afterwards, but the suit is missing all of a sudden. Oh no.
Yeah, no, because he takes like a firefighter uniform and he
right.
He infiltrates, acting as a firefighter. He sees it missing from the burning building, but then he does see I think he sees someone in the I don't remember exactly where he sees it, but he does see some like a glimpse of the suit, I believe. He either sees a glimpse of the suit or like he gets a lead as to where it could be. And so he eventually gets a lead that it's with a firefighter that is part of a LARPing group, which if you don't know what LARPing is, because you're not a nerd.
It's an acronym for live action role play.
Yes.
Now, what does that mean?
Live action role playing, or LARPing, as us nerds call it, is so if anyone out there knows what D&D is, it's that in real life, but without a VR headset.
Wait, you go outside?
Yes.
But I was told by Mark
before he can go and get it, he has to send his
family.
He has to send his family away.
He's vomiting from the Black Widow movie still.
He has to send them home for the holidays. Basically, make sure they're safe.
Yeah, make sure they're safe, away from the danger. Everything like that.
Hearing aid montage? What do you mean hearing aid montage?
I don't know what I mean by hearing aid montage. It's like a montage.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's because Kate and Clint do eventually regroup. So with the LARPing thing, so Hawkeye LARPs a little bit with the people, just so he can get to the person that has the Ronin suit. He then has to do this like one-on-one honor system battle with the guy, make it look real enough to pass, to make sure that they all get some excitement out of it. Because honestly, what LARPing is for most people is an escape, just like video games are, or like watching movies. It's an escape for them, especially since like this group of LARPers are like police officers, firefighters, first responders, basically.
I actually hadn't noticed that detail. That's cool.
And so for them, it's an escape away from their like major responsibilities of helping around the city. Who's taking over while they're gone?
No wonder Spider-Man does all the work.
But yeah, and so that's what the LARPing group is. So eventually, Clint does get the suit back. He sends his family away, and he regroups with Kate. And so the hearing aid montage is when Kate and Clint are walking through Times Square, and Kate asks about the hearing aid and like why he has it, and it's a montage of all the explosions and gunshots that have gone off in Hawkeye's ears.
Oh yeah!
Because again, they are human. They have hearing.
Really now? I didn't know that.
You sustain. I mean, honestly, working at like just watching Marvel films will do that to you eventually. That or working at Amazon, let me tell you. I could tell I was going deaf while working there. Kate just wants to get into the crime-fighting business. Clint eventually gets the suit back, puts it in a locker that he locks up.
Yeah, it's totally safe. Totally safe. No one will find it, ever.
Wait, was the fencing in the second episode?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was later than that. Ooh. Holy shit. There was a lot that happened in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Kate is very suspicious of Jack because Jack has a has a fencing background.
It's called sus.
Sus. So because Kate wants to prove it to her mom, because apparently she needs acceptance now, she challenges Jack to a fencing match. Kate wants to fucking murder Jack. Sorry, I'm just reading Ethan's notes on this. They are hilarious, some of them.
I mean, like, now that we know, like looking back and in hindsight, like, Jack is not, like, a villain at all. Mm-hmm. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. But she just has the wrong guy. Clint, while this is supposedly at like the same-ish time, Clint gets captured by the Tracksuit Mafia. And Kate tries to save him, tries to do a superhero landing, fails, and gets captured too. And then instead of saying sets up who we might be villain in the notes, it's just who is the manager ?
Yeah, because all we got at the very end of that episode was just a silhouette of the person that we would see in the next episode, most likely. Yeah. So episode 2 just overall was like not the most action-y kind of thing ever. It's
the most action we got was a fencing match between an old man and a young woman, and our local New York City police and fire departments LARPing in Central Park.
Yeah,
that was the most action we got in this episode.
It's also to tell us that like these are two different plots overall, because like Clinton's doing his own thing and Kate's doing his own thing, but also Kate wants the help from Clint.
So Clint is trying to keep Kate safe as best he can, which is to distance himself from her as best as possible, but their paths, because of their stories intertwined, constantly keep on getting in the way of each other, so they constantly have to keep on meeting and fight together, which Kate is all for, because Kate, and a part of why Kate's doing what she's doing, I feel, is because she's trying to prove herself to Hawkeye. Like all she wants is just like approval from him, which she constantly gets denied.
Like the opportunity to make that approval is to like show him this actual real conspiracy that's going on within her own family.
Yeah. within her own family, and even now by trying to save him.
Right, yeah.
Like, everything she does is just to try to get that approval from him, which he constantly denies her until, like, the last, like, episode.
Until, like, the last episode. I had a huge problem with it in episode 4, but we'll get to that.
So, yeah. So, now on to episode 3, Echoes. Who hears the echoes, though? We got 2 deaf protagonists.
Like that, yeah. That's another thing too that I noticed. Is very introducing with this villain here, Maya, otherwise known as Echoes in the comics, right?
Maybe. Look. I am not a huge. So, the thing about the MCU now is that we're getting into more obscure and lesser known characters.
Yeah.
And I don't know that much about them, to be completely honest. So we are slowly going to get into even new territory for me.
Okay.
The upcoming projects that I can think of that I will actually know mostly what I'm talking about are Moon Knight, Secret Invasion, Multiverse of Madness. That's about it.
That's about it. Because I know it was like announced like a while ago that like an Echoes TV show was supposed to be a thing starring this character.
Really?
Yeah. It was announced a while ago though. I have no idea when that's happening, but it is going to be a thing, and this is just an introduction to Maya here. But yeah, what I did find interesting about like the show going on from here was they really emphasized the deafness perspective of characters overall.
No, I did like that. It's not just like a scene here or there, but we actually get multiple scenes. It almost feels like we get at least one scene per episode, where we are in the perspective of the deaf character.
Yeah.
Because it happens with both Maya and Hawkeye, where we
half Hawkeye.
half Hawkeye. And I do like those moments a lot. And I do like that they're actually doing pretty well when it comes to their deaf representation.
Yeah.
Because I mean, the first deaf character we got in the MCU was back in Eternals. And now we have Maya. And I'm excited to see where this could potentially lead to.
Yeah, because we haven't really seen. I think they're trying to make like deaf people a mainstream into things, like Hollywood just generally. Because I know it's not like it's the very first time that a deaf person's ever been on screen right now.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like it served the plot in like past movies from like over 10 years ago and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I feel like they're trying to put deaf characters into more like mainstream roles than just being the deaf character, you know?
Yeah. Like
this villain one, for example, the hero one from Eternals, that only got like a second of screen time because she was fastest thing alive. But you see what's happening, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying, but we'll just have to see where it goes.
Right, so that's why we have this like montage of like Maya's childhood right here. Mm-hmm. And she also has a prosthetic leg. How'd that happen? Don't know.
It is possible that she was just like born with it.
Born like this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because we don't really get when it comes to her prosthetic leg, we don't really get that much backstory on it. It could be because of a injury, a battle. She was born with it.
I think it was 2007 when they said for the flashback, so she could have been born with it. I can see that.
That's at least what I think is the most likely reason, is that she was just born with it. But
she does taekwondo, which shows how acrobatic she is. Mm-hmm. And then fast forward to Maya lurking around the building where the Ronin, oh no, kills her
father.
Is that what that says?
Yes. That, and I just remember.
Oh.
Because it was like her main like motivation.
Oh, I just said her people.
Her people. I mean, he does kill tracksuits, but one of those tracksuits was her father. And yeah, so after we get those few flashbacks of Maya, we then cut to present day where we see Clint and Kate tied to these
the horsey ride.
The horsey rides where you put like a quarter in and you just like rock back and forth on like a horse. Which honestly, okay,
that was my last quarter.
Ah, tartar sauce. I'm going to a different dream.
Okay, bye, SpongeBob. Huh. Shoot, that was my last quarter.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. When it because in the last episode, like at the end of it, it was kind of in the dark, so we didn't necessarily like even that. And and like Hawkeye was tied to a chair, I think, at the end of the last one. So when they did the reveal of them on these horsey rides, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed. I laughed so hard at that.
It's funny. That's just generally how the show is overall. It's a funny show. This isn't like very dark, brooding, serious type of thing. No, it's very funny, very comical.
Yeah.
It has like its moments of like dark and sadness, but it's like easily brushed aside by all the laughs that you have.
Yeah, I mean, like the darkest thing we really get in this is probably seeing Armand's body.
Probably, yeah. They do the gory stuff still, which is kind of odd.
Yeah. Again, transition period between like the lighter stuff to the darker stuff.
They're testing the waters.
Mm-hmm.
You see.
So we see them tied up to these like little horsey rides. Maya tries to communicate with Clint via sign because I think at this point he doesn't have his hearing aid.
Yeah, like Maya actually stepped on it.
Yeah.
Like she stomped on it, I should say.
And that's because Maya is... So Clint is very much like... and these are actual perspectives in the deaf community. I took ASL in high school. I know what I'm talking about here, kind of.
He took his glasses off.
Kind of. So, like, bear with me. If I get something wrong, don't be too mean. So the two perspectives between Maya and Hawkeye when it comes to loss of hearing and slash deafness is... Hawkeye is very much like he wants to keep his hearing. He doesn't want to he learns some signs, like very basic signs, but he still is very much like he doesn't want to learn it entirely. He will if he has to.
He's not very fluent in it, but he might think that like I could lose hearing in my other ear too.
Yeah. And so he's trying to hold on to his hearing as much as possible. That's Hawkeye's perspective. Maya, because she's been deaf all her life, she is very much like what we see. She's very much fluent in it, and she's very much like, hey, you're hard of hearing slash deaf, like because it is possible that she doesn't know that he still hears in his other ear. I think. I mean, she probably. I mean,
no.
She obviously figures it out during this conversation, but I mean.
Yeah, I think she knew beforehand. That's why she stomped on the hearing aid.
Possibly.
It's like, why do you have a hearing aid if you're deaf?
Right. Small tangent out of the way. Now. During their conversation, Maya mentions the Ronin. Clint says that the Ronin is dead. Black Widow killed him. They eventually do get freed because Clint, being the crafty man that he is at prison escapes, is able to get himself.
That's what he learned in Budapest.
Yep.
Do we ever see that?
Nope. And Kate during the scene is very much watching Clint as closely as she can, without being too suspicious, because she's trying to like learn from him. Right. And so she even tries to do what he did when it comes to like escaping, and he even like kind of helps her out. So after Clint gets free, he makes a run for it.
Like there's this brief moment of him playing in the ball pen. It was hilarious.
Oh yeah, no, because like he sneaks through it.
Dude, I want to do that so bad. I don't know where there are any ball pens around our neighborhood.
Yeah,
I'd love to do that.
But he's able to. He's eventually the main reason why he went and made the run for it is so that he could get his bow and arrows. he gets them. He gets outside. He breaks into a car. Which this actually had I believe it's this where they had a really nice joke where it's like, why are we gonna take the, like, I don't remember the brand of car, but it was like, I think it was a Camaro, and they were like, why aren't we taking the Camaro? Because I don't want to break the window or something like that. And so they take this like kind of like crappy car.
A Volvo, no.
So then car chase.
The rest of this episode is basically a big car chase throughout the thing. Like, personally, I really like car chase scenes in movies just generally because it's fascinating how those are shot. Because like what we see in the movie is just a bunch of sharp turns on street corners and all that and stuff like that. Like shooting arrows, or this time it's arrows, but like shooting guns, or chasing them. Technically speaking, it's just very fascinating how those are built. Just generally. And so how is this one done? Well, So a big thing about the show, because like when it was first released, like when I first saw the trailer for the show, I was like, they're saying the words bows and arrows a lot. I wonder, you know what I should do? I should mark down every single time they say the word bow or arrow in the script. It's going to be hilarious. This is where the most arrow drops in the series happen. Because all they're talking about are arrows, like multiple kinds of trick arrows, which we're seeing for the first time for Hawkeye, just generally.
Well, we're not, when it comes to trick arrows, we're not really seeing them for the first time. It's just this is the first time they've ever really gone in like an in-depth conversation about them. Because we've seen them in action, but we've never really seen them referred to as trick arrows.
Well, not really. I feel like maybe there's there's an exploding one, sure, and maybe a grapple one in the other movies or one, but like this is like they have a lot of fun with the variety.
Yeah. Especially later on when they actually like make more trick arrows.
Right.
Car chase happens. I believe this is where we get the first pin arrow of the giant one, which like pins an entire car.
There's like
their reaction to it. The reaction to it too is amazing.
It's like, oh no. I really liked the gag about the plunger arrow. What the hell's a plunger arrow gonna do? Then Clint shows her about 2 minutes later. Oh, so that's what it's for.
So, Clint is now staying with Kate in her aunt's apartment. Clint later in this episode, which this part of the episode, this was like the only part in the entire show where I actually felt emotional, and it's just because father figures get me. I have dad issues.
Where's your dad?
Shut up.
Is he still out to getting the milk?
Clint doesn't have his hearing aid in because it's being repaired at this moment, I believe. Clint gets a call from his son, but he can't hear. It's amazing. Kate has amazing timing though, because she gets here just in time to actually translate the conversation. Because at first Clint thinks that it's his wife calling, but it's actually his son, his youngest, I believe. And so Kate helps Clint out by writing down what his son is saying so that he can actually respond. The hearing aid gets repaired. He's able to hear again. And then they have a difficult conversation about role models and stuff. This is just what the notes are telling me. So this is where they really talk about role models and stuff. Murder mystery plot. Clint and Kate sneak into Kate's own home. Jack is home.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, no. And I love this reveal of like, so basically what happens is they sneak into the house. It's more so Kate sneaking Clint in.
Yeah.
But they sneak in because they're trying to get like a lead on Jack, I believe.
Yeah.
Through Kate's mom's like boss laptop. Because apparently boss laptops have more information than anyone else's.
I mean
that is true.
You don't get paid.
That is true too. And then Clint hears something or something like that, and he gets suspicious and he walks away. And then that's when Jack holds a sword to him. Jack's home.
Oh no.
Episode 4.
We didn't think anybody was home, but oh no. Now Jack's gonna murder us. So episode 4, partners.
Am I right? So Jack and Mama interrogate Clint and Kate.
Okay, the mom's name is Eleanor. I did not write that down at all.
Jack and Mama. So Jack and Eleanor, they interrogate / have Clint and Kate for dinner.
Yeah.
That's it's not even really dinner, it's just like a sit down.
It's like Jack was like, "Holy crap, you're an Avenger!"
Yeah, no, they're like happy to be in the presence of an Avenger. Things like that. Clint somehow is able to get the Ronin sword back into his possession right before he's about to leave the apartment, or like the penthouse. Eleanor pulls him aside and is like, "Hey, I know what you do. Don't touch my daughter. Don't kill her. Don't make sure she's safe." And he's like, "I got you. Never mind."
What, Hawkeye? I really wish...
He gets into the elevator. Psych, bitch.
No, I really wish Clint, if the plot was more focused on like keeping her safe, or something like that. I'm onto something here. I don't know what it is though. But
I have a thought.
I just would like Clint to say to the mom here, "That's supposed to be your job."
That would have actually been really good.
Yeah.
Something about a Rolex.
Oh yeah.
The watch.
Yeah, that's when I was like, "Oh, there's a watch in the story." Okay, that's.
I remember people were trying to like connect the watch back to like Captain America and things like that.
What?
Yeah, no. It's because of like alternate versions of Captain America that have appeared in the time that Captain America was in the ice. Because we saw the previous Captain America from Falcon and Winter Soldier. But like, because there have been other people throughout the years that have almost held the title of Captain America, but then the government's like, so that's people were like trying to theorize who the watch belongs to, and then this episode is just like, no, it's Clint's, or something like that. It's like it belongs to like Clint and his family. Don't know what it does, but it's here.
Yeah, because like we don't really connect Rolex with Clint.
Yeah, no, and they don't really even explain the watch. Really, it's just the MacGuffin of the show.
Right.
Jack and Mama dance to chestnuts. I love that it's just Mama.
Yeah, and remember, this show's around Christmas time, so we hear a bunch of Christmas music.
Yes, this is the best thing that happened to Christmas since Die Hard. Yeah, no. So actually, fun fact: the name of the song is actually the Christmas song.
Yeah.
You just put chestnuts.
Well, that's the only thing that we know.
Chestnuts roasting on open fire. Anyways, don't want to get copywritten. That song's in the public domain, right?
Oh.
Kate tries to make Clint's vacation holly jolly. I love these notes.
Yeah, so like I think this is the most charming scene in the entire show.
It's because it's actually them bonding.
Yeah.
And not through fighting.
Not through. Yeah, right. Not through fighting.
It's just them it's kind of like the other. It has the same feel as like the other family scenes that we saw Clint have, except this time he's now bonding with someone new. He's actually making It's because from Clint's character's story.
He hasn't had.
He's a closed off guy.
Yeah, and he also hasn't had a Christmas at all for the last 10 years or so.
Mm-hmm. And so Kate tries to make it up to him and make it worthwhile by actually doing what he would be doing with his family right now. So they watch Christmas movies. They decorate a tree.
I think a gingerbread house too.
Yeah, they do a gingerbread house.
These are all to do things that Clint wants to do with his family, but then the Ronin thing happened.
I believe this is also the scene where they do the coin flicking.
The coin flicking, yeah, which is okay.
Yeah.
I don't really have any thoughts about that.
Neither did I.
Yeah. But yeah, it was the most charming scene out of the entire show, just so we can see these two Clint is actually smiling and actually bonding with someone, even though if it's not his family member. And I think also Kate realizes it's that's why she's doing it in the first place.
Yeah,
because she recognizes how much pain and human this character is, Even though like all her life she's been like dreaming about like
I mean it's because like she sees him as like this
grandiose
to make a metaphor, Clint is to Kate as Iron Man was to Spider-Man.
I see.
That's kind of the relationship here, is that she full on idolizes him,
right?
And he's just trying to make her as safe as possible.
Yeah, and throughout the course of the episode, she realizes that he is also like a very broken human as well, just like all of us. Yeah, we're very broken. Yeah, Bryan cries too. If you didn't know that,
I do.
Yeah, that's why she was trying to make up for even like her intrusions. There's another word for it.
Yeah, it could also be that she also could see him. It also could potentially be that she sees him as a father figure. But that could be stretching a bit.
That could be stretching, maybe. If we're applying the metaphor like Iron Man and Spider-Man thing, that could work. Yeah.
But yeah, so Clint shares his story of him attempting to assassinate Natasha, the shot he didn't take. Budapest, we never learn anything more.
God, freaking
that was supposed to be what Black Widow was going to do, but then what did they do? Not that.
They introduced Yelena. Wait.
Red Guardian. The best MCU character.
My father to go toilet on hand.
My Miss American.
Anyways.
Yeah, so Kate figures out Clint was Ronin, because it's that easy. It's because they're talking, and it's the way that Clint talks about Ronin. Kate catches on that it seems more personal than it is, and so she's like, "You're Ronin, aren't you?" What? Yeah. Okay.
I had a problem with that I think I wrote down somewhere else.
That she figured out that he was Ronin?
Like this early. Because I know
we'll get to it if we get to it.
Okay, because I know I did not like something about that, but I can't remember what it was.
So yeah, family, Ronin, and Natasha flashbacks, all from Avengers Endgame. Stuff we've already seen. Did you notice the Thanos was right, Mark?
Did you notice?
I did not, but I do remember in the first episode on the urinal so at some point in the first episode, that's right. So during the first episode when he's watching the Rogers the Musical, he has to use the bathroom.
Right.
And at one of the urinals, there's a little message that just says Thanos was right, and he looks down at it and kind of chuckles to himself. And I never really got why he chuckled.
Yeah, I don't know either, and I kind of figured, like, the first time I saw that on the urinal, I was like, that'd be interesting to see where that would
Next thing you know, it was written by Icarus.
But no, I feel like I had a thought early on when I first saw that. I was like, that'd be interesting to explore why. They're not going to do that, though.
Nope.
I had that very early on. It's like, they're not going to explore that at all. I don't know why. It was a calling from God to say, stop watching this show.
Yeah. So again, somehow all of Clint's stuff just miraculously gets taken by the LARPing group, because Kate meets up with a group of the LARPers, specifically like they're going through like a medieval-esque training thing, and like the one leading it is a cop. And so Kate goes to confront her about getting the arrows back. And I believe she says yes, but like there's like a
whole police procedure thing.
Yeah,
because it was the lady cop thing.
Because they're all the arrows that were picked up from the car chase. Clint sneaks into Kazi's car. Oh yeah, so Kazi is Maya's brother.
Interpreter. Oh, brother, really? Okay.
Brother/interpreter.
I didn't know that.
It's because of the way because he also refers to Maya's father as father.
Oh. Where was he in the flashback stuff? Fuck.
Oh no, that's the point. That's why later on when the whole like twist is revealed, because Maya's like, why weren't you there?
Oh.
So yeah, Clint sneaks into Kazi's car basically to say, hey, get Maya off Ronin's back. She's never gonna fucking solve it. Tell her to stop. It's not worth it. stop wasting your life. And so then Clint goes home to Kate's aunt's house. The LARPers are there. Yay! There's a bunch of Xbox One games.
I saw a bunch of Xbox One games on the shelf that they had inside the thing, and I was like, "Oh man, gamer moment."
The Rolex wasn't destroyed. Yeah, because at some point it was taken. Or no, they learned that it wasn't destroyed because it's at Maya's house. But they don't know it's at Maya's house.
Yeah, because they thought the Rolex was destroyed in that initial car crash from episode 1.
Yeah. Kate infiltrates Maya's apartment and retrieves the Rolex.
Yeah,
again,
like Clint and Kate are both on the infiltration mission, but and like Clint is trying to like devise this whole entire plan. It was like, all right, we're gonna do this sneakily, and here's just Kate walking up to the door. Yeah.
Which again, like the comedy and their differences is also pretty good.
It is.
So Kate goes in to the apartment. And she sets off a silent alarm. She doesn't at first know what it is because the alarm itself doesn't make noise. It's just
it's just a flashing thing. Which makes sense. I was like,
because Maya's dead.
This is Maya's apartment, right?
Which
means any burglar out there is like, why is that fucking flashing light there? Okay, then just gets
their leg broken by a prosthetic leg. Mayan sign language is just like now we're even, bitch.
Just get like drop kicked.
It reminds me when Benny and I first fell in love. I had just finished my fruit cobbler.
So Kate battles Maya inside the apartment as Clint is battling Yelena from Black Widow the movie on the roof on the roof of a building across from
across the street. Yeah, and so we don't know it's Yelena right now. It's not until like she somehow gets her face covering off somehow.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly how.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how.
I'm wondering I'm wondering exactly what is going on through Kate's head at the moment Clint says we never were partners.
Yes. Okay. So that's where I had a big problem with this show because like the entire thing of like we were saying that like Kate idolizes Clint just on the same thing as like Spider-Man and Iron Man, right? Mm-hmm. And so when she actually hears this like rejection from him, I wanted to know what exactly was going through her mind, like how she has to be hurt, right? Because she thought like even at the moment where she knew she had messed up with her, lack of a better word, misadventuring with Hawkeye, she thought throughout the entire thing that they were on good terms, but apparently not.
And then
it was explicitly from like Clint's perspective that he was very annoyed by Kate. That's the entire thing, just because it's essentially her fault why he's in this mess to begin with.
I mean, he does blame her for a lot of for the main reason why he's still in town. For reference for like the viewers, if you to make another Iron Man, Spider-Man like reference, this is kind of similar to the. Like emotions wise, this is very similar to the moment in Spider-Man Homecoming when Iron Man says to Peter, if you're nothing without this suit, then you shouldn't have it, or something like that. This is kind of like similar lines. Not exactly the same, but like similar emotions.
Similar emotionally, maybe.
Either that, or it would be more similar to the scene where Peter's like, if you cared so much, you'd be here yourself, and then Tony just steps out of the suit. I think that's the same scene, actually.
Yeah, it is the same scene.
But like that's like the main point where I can actually like make a connection.
I think the perspectives from both of those characters from there and here are much more different.
Yeah. Because, I mean, in Spider-Man's case, he's literally a kid. Like, he's still in high school. Well, in this case, Kate is a full-fledged adult.
Full-fledged, 25, roughly, maybe.
Who knows?
23. Legal.
If I had to guess, I would say, like, early 20s.
Early 20s? Yeah, I think so, too, yeah. But like, that scenario was different because,
that you want.
Well, the scenes are similar because, like, both Peter and Kate idolize their superiors, yet Tony and Clint are very annoyed with their antics because they essentially have to be the cleanup crew. But the difference is that Tony was disappointed in Peter because he wanted Peter to, quote, be better, meaning Tony was at that moment looking for someone to replace his mantle as Iron Man. I don't think Clint cares about mantles or mentors or generally his superhero branding at all. That doesn't necessarily mean that Clint doesn't care about Kate, but he absolutely doesn't care about indulging Kate's idolization of him. So that's why Clint says, quote, "We were never partners," and I genuinely think he meant that.
So that concludes episode 4. Episode 5, Ronin.
Ronin.
So it is revealed that Clint is now being hunted by a Black Widow, aka Yelena. Again, we get to see what Yelena did after the Black Widow movie.
There are a lot of origin stories in this show.
Yeah,
honestly. Like, and none of them are Hawkeyes.
We never will see Budapest. At least in its full glory. This scene exists just to show that, like, Yelena confirmed got snapped. Yes, Yelena got snapped. Because, like, she and some other... Because she was on a mission to free some Black Widows. They freed a Black Widow who they thought was taken, but was actually already freed. And was actually doing really well for herself.
You just got a stain on my carpet, you fuck.
Right. And then Yelena goes to go wash up in a bathroom or something, and then she gets snapped, and then she appears right back 5 years later. The Black Widow that she freed in quotations now has a husband and kids, and she just appears, and then they talk and they catch up. And then that's when she learns about what happened to Natasha, how Natasha died. And then she's like, I must find out who did it. Hawkeye.
Yeah, it was clearly Hawkeye.
Yes.
Like, again, my problem with the MCU is the TV show and the movie things kind of coinciding with one another, and not every single audience member is going to watch either the movies or the TV shows. Like, us, the fans, they're the exception to the whole audience thing because they watch every single piece of media out there. Mm-hmm. I hate my life.
Why do we have to start this? Why are we still here?
Just to suffer. But yeah, so those who didn't watch Black Widow, at the very post-credit scene of Black Widow, Yelena was at Natasha's grave and then got hired by Madam Hydra of all people.
I don't remember what her actual name is in the fucking thing.
It's like a 4-name thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The purple-haired woman.
Purple-haired woman, yeah. From the same one from Falcon and Winter Soldier. I haven't seen that one. She was like kind of a side antagonist.
Yeah.
So everything's coinciding with another here. So basically, this Madam Hydra character hired Yelena to take out Hawkeye on the false premise that Clint was the one that murdered Natasha.
Yes. Murdered in quotations.
Yeah, that's why I said false premise.
Yep.
Is Madam Hydra ever mentioned here? No. Nope.
Never seen, never mentioned, never heard.
No.
So after the intro sequence, Kate returns home after being emotionally broken after Clint. Sus. So Kate tells her mom about Jack's susness.
That is a word now.
Yes, that officially. Oh my.
Copyright 2022.
Can we trademark that?
Yes.
We then cut to Kazi, who tells Maya after they kill Ronin, they'll be done. Kate returns to her burned apartment,
which isn't burned anymore.
Yeah.
It didn't burn down, but they didn't, like, the interior did not leave any scorch marks anywhere. I was so confused by that.
And Yelena was there. Oh my god.
And she was just eating macaroni.
She was about to cook macaroni and cheese. So Yelena reveals that she knows everything about Kate. that she's there to kill Clint. How much cooler would the scene have been if Kate hadn't figured out yet that Clint was Ronin?
That was my problem.
That was
right there. That was my problem right there. Because if they hadn't shot episode 4 the way they did with Kate just figuring out that Clint was Ronin just immediately, just right out of the blue, that would have made this scene so much better. Because essentially, Yelena never knew that Clint and Ronin were the same, right?
Nope. At least I don't believe so. Because she was snapped during the years that Ronin was active.
Yeah, you're right. Was Ronin ever mentioned in this conversation?
I don't believe so. Did you pull a stupid?
I might have pulled a stupid.
Sorry, as we watch Ethan's brain explode.
I might have done the dumb. Maybe that wasn't a problem itself. That was just a me thing.
Alrighty. So, continuing on. Clint stashes himself away to some guy's apartment.
I think it was the guy that...
Yeah, no, it's the firefighter. Yeah. Jack gets arrested because Kate comes home, finds that her mother actually listened to her, which is a rarity. And Jack is getting arrested. Clint visits so after the return of Yelena, Clint now just has more Natasha flashbacks to worry about.
Right.
And so he goes to visit a memoriam for the attack on New York from 2012. And he basically says some words.
Yeah, the quote that I wrote down here, "I'm so sorry for what I'm about to do." I didn't know what that meant. I think he was about to do something sinister or dark or something. Then the next scene that we see of him, what does he do? Ronin.
There's two possible things that it can mean. Either he's saying sorry for what he's about to do, meaning that he's sorry for having to fight her sister, or he's saying sorry because he made because when he came back to be Hawkeye and stopped being Ronin, he made a promise not just to his not just to his wife, but also to Natasha that he wouldn't go back to being that. And so by saying sorry, he's saying sorry for basically going back to being Ronin just to get Maya off his back.
Okay, that makes much more sense.
Because
I thought, I'm so sorry if I'm gonna kill again. You killed 1,000 aliens, my guy.
So Kate leaves thousands of messages on Clint's phone. Maya gets a message to meet Ronin, ... from Clint. Oh my god. Who would have guessed? Ronin takes everyone out Batman style.
That I had to write that.
Yeah, no. So the message that Clint leaves, that Ronin leaves Maya is meet me here, meet me where your father died. Don't bring anyone else. Of course, she brings everyone else.
Yeah, nobody listens to anything written like that.
And so Ronin takes them all out Batman style in the dark because apparently this fucking car lot doesn't believe in lights. So Ronin is able to take everyone out. Ronin reveals to Maya that he is Clint. Dun dun dun.
Who knew that?
Is the story here that Maya's boss put a hit on her father and the hitman was Ronin?
Yeah, that's clearly what it was.
Yes. Yeah, basically that's what it was. Which the boss that they're referring to, we get a glimpse of the boss. I believe it was it was during the flashback montage of Maya's backstory, where we see Maya at one of her taekwondo meets get her father's your uncle's gonna pick you up after you're done, or your uncle's gonna be here to watch you today because I have stuff to do. And then we see a hand caress young Maya's face, and so that's who the boss is. Maya's boss is her uncle. So yeah, the boss wanted her father dead, and Ronin was the one who did it. Kate saves the day!
Again, for like the 1,000th time in the show.
What did she do to save the day again?
She just showed up here, didn't she?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
Kate tells Clint about Yelena. Yelena follows Kate's mom. Oh, that's right. The reason why Kate left a bunch of messages on Clint's phone because during Yelena and Kate's conversation in the house, because Kate like asked Yelena who put you up to this, so Yelena goes and finds out. It was the mom.
Sure it was.
Sure. It was Eleanor the whole time.
That's totally canon. I mean, when in the show's context, it makes sense if you hadn't watched Black Widow or anything else back then. But if you do know what's going on, you're like, that's not correct.
Yeah.
It's Mephisto.
It's Mephisto. He's changing the timelines already. So Kate saves the day. Kate tells Clint about Yelena. Yelena follows Kate's mom, Kingpin, aka Mr. Grinch.
I found like the credits sequence for that one is like, you're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. I found that really hilarious.
I did like that they played the original like Boris Karloff version.
Yeah, that one.
Kingpin silhouette.
Did you notice that in the end credits?
Not.
Oh yeah, like the entire cityscape was a silhouette of Kingpin.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice. That's pretty well done. Anyway.
But yeah, so
this is the big Kingpin reveal, similar to the reveal that Matt Murdock was in Spider-Man No Way Home.
If you haven't seen Spider-Man No Way Home, oops.
Sorry. Go watch our other reveal.
Anyway, so the last episode of Hawkeye, episode 6. So this is Christmas ? And referring to the song title.
Episode 6. So the start of episode 6 is Kingpin and Mama.
Okay, so explain to the audience for the first time or again if you haven't watched our Spider-Man No Way Home podcast, because Kingpin is the main antagonist of the Netflix Daredevil series, right?
Yes,
all
yes,
right,
he is.
So
let me tell. This is a character I know about. Let me tell you. Okay.
All right. So because like before any of this has happened, no Netflix character has made an appearance in any mainstream MCU things.
Yep.
So what exactly does this mean?
This means that it looks as though and there have also been like some like casting rumors going around as well, but it looks like what they're trying to do is slowly integrate the Netflix characters that we've seen slowly being integrated into the MCU officially, because before this the Marvel Netflix shows were kind of like back and forth between whether or not it was actually canon, because the main things that really happened in those was Coulson's resurrection in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
And there were very like few references to events that happened in the MCU. But they never really collided. And so with the reveal of Kingpin here in Hawkeye and Matt Murdock, aka Daredevil, in Spider-Man No Way Home, it seems as though they are slowly going to integrate the characters into the MCU. So Kingpin is basically the like head macho of the underground world, crime syndicate in New York. He's like one of the head machos of that. He's usually a villain that you'll see appear in like comics or stories that have to deal with like superheroes that deal with street crime. So Hawkeye, Daredevil, Spider-Man. Those are like the main stories that you're going to see Kingpin appear in. I'm not going to go too much into like his backstory or anything. I am going to say though that I do love the fact that the MCU and like the live action interpretations of Kingpin have like stayed away from making him some like huge CGI monster.
The freaking Spider-Verse model. That is a hilarious model.
It's not about the money, Spider-Man. It's about the mitts. Go the mitts. Let's go mitts.
But I think like Vincent D'Onofrio is like a very famous actor. Like I think most known for Law and Order: Criminal Intent.
Yeah, no, I mean he's been the actor who plays Kingpin has actually been in a lot of things that I like didn't even realize it was the same actor. I mean, he was in Jurassic World. He was the guy who wanted to weaponize the raptors.
I haven't seen that one since I haven't seen World since the theaters.
They're there.
I don't care.
I'm trying to think of other like major roles that I remember.
Like
because I saw like an image.
He was the main antagonist of Men in Black 1, right?
Yes, that's what it was. So he's been around for a long time, and I honestly am a huge fan of his interpretation of Kingpin. And I remember he actually got a lot, like not like a lot of hate, but some people have been like dissing on the character's interpretation in this show, of him like wearing like floral shirts. Because they're like, my Kingpin doesn't wear floral or colorful shirts, and I'm just
so
like,
the next question,
did you read a comic?
So the next question you have to ask is, what do you mean by my?
Yeah, because I mean, he does wear a lot of like in some comics he does wear a lot of colorful shirts, and even the suit that he's wearing, like this is a very like comic book accurate outfit. Because there's one comic book where on the cover he's literally wearing this exact same outfit.
Oh, really?
Like the white suit and everything.
Okay, but now I want to know did they do Kingpin dirty here?
In my opinion, my Marvel fan opinion, not really.
Not okay.
Now, when I say
wishy-washy.
When I say this, what I mean is, for the most part, they actually do him pretty well. The only part that I'm kind of iffy about is at the end of this episode, during like his like big fight. And the reason why is because while Kingpin is still human, he is 98% muscle mass. I'm not even joking. Yeah. That's why he's usually portrayed as a really big guy, is because on the outside he looks like he's a really big, like squishy kind of guy, but really, like, it's not fat, it's muscle.
That's why like the freaking arrow didn't actually penetrate through him. It's not because he was wearing armor or anything like that. That's his actual muscles saying no.
Yeah, exactly. All he has to do is just like flex and you'll bounce off him. And so that's why I say kind of. But yeah, so continuing on with the episode, after we learn that Kingpin and Eleanor are like working together, we find out that
Eleanor turns out to be the bad guy, not Jack, who we thought this entire time would be the main villain. You're telling me
it wasn't the guy with the mustache?
No, it wasn't the guy with the mustache.
What?
That was I did not like that plot twist.
I didn't either.
No.
Because Jack, like the way that they were setting him up, he was a very likable villain. Right. And then they did the twist, and I'm just like, well, now I just don't like Eleanor.
Yeah. Like, maybe some of us didn't like Eleanor initially because she's a very, not a very responsible mother.
Yeah. She tries to be, but she fails at a lot of points.
Because she's rich.
Yeah. So we find out that we find all this out over a video that Kate got sent from Yelena. Clint says the partner thing.
What?
Clint says the partner thing.
Oh yeah, that was my problem because Clint says like we're partners now. Yay! There's like. You went from episode 4 saying we were never partners at all to episode 6. Like, nothing really happened in episode 5 between Clint and Kate in that thing. All Kate did was just save the day, like, right at the very end, and then all of a sudden they're partners now. They're okay with that.
Yeah.
I did not like that at all. That's why I was like, I wish they had fleshed it out. Like, episode 5 being, like, the very in-between episode of, like, the climax of episode 4 and then the climax of the show. That's the time to build up that relationship, like mend that relationship more so. Mm-hmm. They didn't do that at all. It just went from 0 to 60 at all. I did not like that at all.
So Kingpin and Maya meet up. this is where we finally see like Maya confront her boss, aka her uncle, and she talks to him about like leaving the tracksuits, leaving like the mob, and like going to like figure stuff out on her own, take some time, after the whole like Ronin thing. Montage of trick arrow building. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we were saying in episode 3. When we were covering episode 3.
Where we see them building trick arrows, making trick arrows. I believe this is also where we get...
what does this mean, deadly? It means deadly.
Yeah. I believe this is also where the LARPers, or like the like cop...
the cop LARPer
says that she like offers to make them new costumes.
Oh, yeah. I think that was a bit earlier.
I think that might have been like the last episode, or like episode 4.
Yeah, episode 4, because like
when all the LARPers were there.
Yeah, and also Kate was trying to like excite Clint from like, you're gonna get a new costume and everything, like a running gag throughout this jokes, because you have bad marketing, huh, Clint?
Oh yeah,
that's why you suck. But I think you're the greatest thing ever.
No, look, that person's you. No, that's Katniss Everdeen. Clint, Kate, and the LARP friends go undercover at the Bishop family fancy party. Yes.
Bishop.
So
the family party.
The family party.
No, the fancy party.
Yes. So the mom is hosting this this like grand.
It's a big Christmas party because this is Christmas Eve.
Isn't it like for her business? Like, isn't it like a company Christmas party?
Yeah, that's a common thing. Like,
yeah.
Doesn't Amazon have Christmas parties, or did you quit before?
We don't do parties at Amazon.
Oh.
Do you think we're allowed to have fun?
Armand 6 bailed Jack out.
Yeah.
That's why Jack is all of a sudden here.
And then, like, again, the little kid Armand the 7. They, like, him and Jack have a little interaction, and I laughed at that because, like, Armand's trying to, like, say to Jack, like, I can ruin your whole life. Like, I'll take your fortune. And Jack's like, listen, I'll tell everyone that you peed your pants at, like, 2 Christmas parties ago. And I'm just like, oh, damn, he's pulling out that memory? Oh, shit, he mean business.
See, that's a great villain.
Right? So, yeah. Yelena is also here. Everyone's here.
Everyone da 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 da.
Look at the smash symbol up here.
Because it's the big climax, you have to
have everyone come together.
Like think of like this series as like a candy wrapper, and you have to like, it's all bunched up at the end. Then you have all the candy, the Jolly Rancher. You have to split up the plots here, and then they all tie together at the very end of the candy twist.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
That's how I describe Sonic games.
So yeah. So
that's why everyone is here.
We see, and so all the LARPers, they went undercover as like as like waiters and stuff, caterers.
Isn't it kind of sus that Mama wasn't phased that Jack was out of prison?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, no, Kate reveals to her mom that she knows the truth. Sniper attack, because Kazi, I believe it's Kazi that's behind the sniper.
Yeah, it's Kazi that's behind the sniper.
Yeah, Kazi's behind the sniper trying to take out Clint, as well as Yelena, who's at the party.
It's actually fascinating that they didn't actually make Yelena a part of the tracksuits at all. They just have her as a separate entity.
So we get our huge climax where Yelena is going after Clint. Kate stops her. The tracksuits are trying to get Clint. It's mostly Kazi.
And also the LARPers are here disguised as
caterers. They're
yeah.
disguised as caterers, and then they help get people out of the building.
Once they...
Oh yeah, no. Okay, so when they're in their caterer costumes, they are not at all listened to. But as soon as they get into their LARPing uniforms,
they're freaking elf, dwarf, goblins.
Right. Okay, honestly, no. Okay, in the context of the MCU, though, it makes sense.
It does.
Because we have literally seen a Norway god like a Norse god of thunder come to Earth on multiple occasions, it's not that far-fetched to see dwarves or elves here too.
I was saying something similar during Eternals. It's like there's a one scene is like, why can't you date with me? It's because you're a superhero, aren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, no, like it's slowly becoming more self-aware to itself.
Yeah, I actually really like that detail.
As they add more like craziness to it, and like just like you, I do like that detail. So Tracksuits confront Clint. Clint somehow ends up in the giant Christmas tree that's in New York.
This I did not like at all. Eventually there's a whole big fight between Yelena and Kate. I didn't like that either. I didn't like this show. But okay, so can I talk about this? Yelena is set up to be such a threat to Clint and his very existence, literally. She's way too cute to be threatening. I'm sorry. They make her way too cute and funny to actually be a legitimate threat towards Clint's life in this thing. I'm pretty sure that was the entire point, is why they did it though, because we know that we kind of have a feeling rather that Clint and Yelena are gonna make up and actually find out the truth because of that, right?
Yeah.
But they just don't. I didn't like the direction that they took. I think it was intentional what they did, but I just didn't like that they made her way too freaking cute to be a threat. You see what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah. So Kate helps Clint by shooting him out of the tree, basically. So one more thing is I hope it was a reference to Elf, and that's when Kate presses all the buttons in the elevator.
Oh, yeah.
I really hope that was a reference to Elf.
Maybe.
I'm fairly certain. I'm 98% sure that it's a reference to Elf, because it takes place at Christmas, and it's just her pressing all the buttons in an elevator, and even Yelena's like, "Oh, come on, don't do that. That's stupid. No, it's annoying. Don't do that." So I'm really hoping that was a reference to Elf, and if it wasn't, I'm gonna be sad.
Maybe. I don't know.
The star is very pointy.
Oh, that was a freakishly pointy star. When it fell down on the ice, that was freakishly pointy. You ever notice that?
A little bit.
Yeah. But no, I didn't like the actual climactic set piece that they have here, just the tree falling over and all that. Mm-hmm. But it would have been fine just on its own. Just how they set it up is Clint says. He's stuck in the tree and he says, "I'm gonna get myself down. Don't worry. Just shoot a grapple arrows. Just help me out or something." But no, Kate is no, I'm gonna do the heroic thing because I'm responsible now. That was supposed to be my arc, but I'm gonna do this anyway. I'm gonna shoot an acid arrow right down in the trunk and do it like that. I didn't like that.
Clint and Kate are surrounded by the tracksuits in this ice rink. Trick arrows for the win! We see a lot more of them, some smoke arrows. I'm trying to remember what else. What other trick arrows we see. I think we see a few electric ones.
Yeah, there's an electric one.
If you want to see all of them in their glory, go watch the show. So after they take care of the tracksuits, Kate goes after her mother. Maya and Kazi fight. They fight because Kazi wants Maya to come back to the mob. Otherwise, Kingpin's gonna kill her. And Maya's like, "No, you killed my father. Prepare to die." Not exactly, but that's kind of
actually does kill him though.
Yeah. Maya does kill Kazi. Clint and Yelena, they do their fight. Kingpin confronts Eleanor, and then before he can do anything, he gets Eleanor into a car, and then Kate distracts Kingpin, which then gives Eleanor time to hijack the car and run over Kingpin. Which how she was able to do it that silently, who knows? Right? Kingpin gets hit with the car. Kate and Kingpin fight it out.
Inside a toy store.
Yep.
Like this is what you're getting at. Is like his big muscly thing is being showcased here.
Kate fights. So they fight. Eleanor gets arrested. Clint and Yelena reconcile. Kind of.
Yeah, I didn't.
This did seem kind of like forced. Their fight stopping. But yeah,
like they're fighting it out, and there's a down period within the fight itself. I get that, but like, I think Clint is trying to have some kind of like epic moment for himself or something, just like, or stoic moment rather, I should say. Just say, like, to tell the truth, like, I didn't kill Natasha, she killed herself. Like, I get it. You're not gonna believe that the very first time you hear it. But then he does the whistling thing from the Black Widow movie, and that proves the point. Something.
Well, it proves that they were like friends.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, no. I just felt like it was a little bit on the forced end.
Yeah, I can feel that too.
Now this is the part where the Kingpin interpretation of me being like, hey, this is actually a pretty good interpretation. This is when it kind of stops, because Maya, it's implied that Maya kills Kingpin, and that's where I have the problem. And the reason why, I'm all for killing Kingpin, but in the way that they did it, I was really pissed about it.
Because it was essentially off screen.
Because it's essentially off screen, and they like it's basically just like, again, it's like Palpatine. Okay, they introduced
Palpatine
him
returned.
just to kill him again. Okay,
again?
Not again, but like they introduced him just to kill him. Like, and I hate that. Because like you set Kingpin up as like this intimidating guy, and then you just kill him immediately. And
then the way that he died as well.
Yeah. Like that is not a way that Kingpin. Like if you look at Kingpin in the comics,
like
it is not a respectable death.
He looked like he was trying to whip up crocodile tears in front of Maya, to like try to get her to like trust her or love her or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, it was very poorly done. That's why I was asking, like, was he done dirty? Because
his death, yes.
He's introduced in this one episode.
If he is like dead, and that's like, and again, he's like one of Daredevil's most well-known villains too. I mean, I know that Daredevil does have other villains, and they did kind of touch on that in like the Daredevil TV show, and even with like the Defenders. Like Daredevil does have other villains, but Kingpin is like his main one, like his arch nemesis. And Kingpin even plays into a lot of Spider-Man's darker stories. Like there's one story of Spider-Man's. I mentioned it in No Way Home when we were talking about like how strong Spider-Man really is. When he beat Kingpin within an inch of his life, and that was because Kingpin sent someone to kill Spider-Man. Because this was like after his identity had been revealed, like people knew that Peter Parker was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So Kingpin put a hit on Peter Parker. Someone tried to do it, but Peter was able to dodge out of the way of the bullet. So the bullet then hit Aunt May and hospitalized her, and that's what sent Peter Parker down his like path of revenge to get Kingpin. And he didn't like, and it wasn't even like the setting of their fight wasn't in like an office, like Kingpin's home or office. It was while he was in prison. Like Kingpin was in prison, surrounded by prisoners and like guards. Spider-Man just shows up and just beats the shit out of him.
Wow.
And he uses Kingpin as a message, not just to Kingpin, but to every prisoner there, because the majority of the prisoners that were there because of Spider-Man. Just to show all of them that if he wanted to, he could kill them that easily. And so like that, like King, if they do want to get into the darker stuff, Kingpin is definitely a great starting point villain to do that.
I see.
I know that, again, as we mentioned in No Way Home, we did touch upon that in there with their versions of darker villains, like Green Goblin. He's really well done in that. But if you want a MCU with darker storylines, Kingpin is definitely a great starting point.
I see.
But he might be dead.
I might, most likely.
99% sure he's dead.
Yeah, because like her name is Echoes, and she's supposed to have a TV show like 2 years from now, maybe, and so we'll see where she goes from there. And I don't know what kind of villains she's supposed to fight. If it's most likely to be crime bosses and everything.
Christmas Day.
Yay!
So on Christmas Day, Clint returns home. He brings Kate with him. He brings gifts with him. He's able to be with his family on Christmas Day. The kids open gifts. Clint has the watch. He's able to return it to his wife.
I saw stuff on the internet as like kind of like letting the thing loose, because there's a line from Age of Ultron that Stark said. It's like, these have to be like mini agents, right? There's no way Clint has an actual family. Mm-hmm. Then there's
she's an agent. Those are tiny agents.
Yeah, there's like a throwaway line in here that kind of revealed that she was an agent. And this whole thing is but she fell in love with him, you see. Yeah.
She was an agent at some point, and then she fell in love, settled down, and had kids.
Exactly. Clint finally comes home for Christmas. He hasn't had one of these in like over 10 years, and he's very happy to be finally sharing a Christmas day with his children, like his whole family all together. It's very nice, very heartwarming. Then there's also the scene later where Clint and Kate are outside near the barbecue, and they ceremoniously burn the Ronin clothes. Mm-hmm. Like, he closes off his Ronin chapter for good. No more. It all comes full circle. Started with Ronin, now it ends with Ronin.
So what's the plan? So then they kind of like ended off with him being with them like starting a new chapter, working together. Mm-hmm. Which actually people have been making there's a theory going around that Clint will be the not necessarily the leader, but like the trainer.
The senior member
the senior member of the Young Avengers. Like, he'll be the one to train the next group of Avengers.
I could see that.
I could too, honestly.
Yeah, especially since like Kate Bishop, what's her actual superhero name in the comics?
Kate Bishop. I think I know at some point she just takes on the mantle of Hawkeye.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember what her superhero name is before that, because all that's coming to my mind are all the DC, like arrowheads. Like Huntress, like obviously Green Arrow. I don't know exactly what her superhero name was before she took on the mantle of Hawkeye, if she even had one. Okay. And then post-credit scene. Now, guys, this is the most important post-credit scene that we have gotten in a long time, because get this, remember Rogers the Musical? It's a full musical number, guys. Full musical number, blocking, choreography, everything.
It is the craziest thing I've probably seen in a while.
If they made an actual stage production of Rogers the Musical, I would not be mad, and I would be the first one to buy the album.
We'd fly to New York.
For the lore.
It's part of the MCU, gang.
They're gonna start a whole new trend. Post-curtain scenes.
Like when everyone's left, there's just the
curtains open. It's a whole nother scene. It's them getting shawarma.
Oh my god, I want to see that now. Please. That'd be hilarious.
I'd pay to go see that. I would get the bootleg, is what I would do.
But yeah, that's hilarious.
But yeah, no, so yeah, we get a full musical number of Rogers the Musical
like,
number.
In context, I'm pretty sure that's like the opening number to the musical.
It's either the open. I would think it would be the opening number.
I think it would.
I can do this all day. That man's voice is so... He has no balls.
Concludes Hawkeye, yeah. So, our general thoughts of the thing is probably present throughout our coverage of the episodes, too. Like, personally for me, I got super bored of this show super fast. Like, I don't know about you, Brian, but, like, I really liked the first 2 episodes. Like, I got hooked on the first 2 episodes, and probably, like, the action sequence of the third one as well, but then it just kind of... I got super bored of it. It was just kind of, like, the same shtick all throughout the entire thing, and I didn't like how just... Like, they had something going with their character interaction between Clint and Kate, then they just kind of, like, 0 to 60... Like they had a gap episode where they weren't interacting with one another, and they didn't make up anything like that at all. I didn't like that. I got super bored of it. And those are my general thoughts of it. Like, I'm not saying this is necessarily a bad show, because there were fun moments in there. Like, generally speaking, this is a fun show. Like, you'll have fun with it. There are some neat moments here and there, but that's all they are, moments. I don't know if you have a different opinion than I, Brian.
For the most part, I actually thoroughly enjoyed this show. I don't think it's like the best MCU show we've gotten. But from beginning to end, I was... I don't want to say enthralled, but I was entertained. Like, there was... because with some of the shows that we did, like with some of the shows that we've done, mainly like Falcon and Winter Soldier, for example, I always felt like I was almost forcing myself to watch the next episode.
Yes.
While with Loki or like WandaVision or even this one, I never felt like I was forcing myself to continue on. I always felt like I was always like ready for the next episode, like to see where the story would go. Now, I do admit that the show does have some faults, like the terribly done plot twist. Kingpin most likely being dead. But overall, I did thoroughly enjoy this.
Okay. And it was entertaining all throughout. You didn't even...
Yeah, I mean, even the LARPing group, I found them comedically fine, because they weren't like shoving the LARPing group down your throat as a comedic.
No, I don't think so.
They just had like their small little scenes. And again, my favorite, like one of my favorite moments with them is the ending of the show when they're like guiding everyone out and they have to change.
That is actually funny.
Because like as soon as they get into their LARPing gear, everyone starts listening to them, and it's hilarious.
That is actually funny. But I guess for me personally, I was interested by that. I just don't think they did anything interesting with them all throughout until the very end. Mm-hmm. That's the thing.
Strong in the beginning, kind of strong, and middle, at least for you.
Yeah, I think that's what this show is. Well, even like the climax I didn't even like, but like, yeah, it had a strong beginning, then it just kind of faltered near the end of it for me personally, and I just we were talking about this in some other movie or TV show, Marvel Burnout.
Yeah,
we got way too much Marvel this year, way too much. Because we got 5 TV shows and 4 movies all in one year.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous.
And that's what I'm hoping Kevin Feige changes as the years go on. Is space it out a bit more.
Yeah, I think they had something going with like the 3-movie formula of like 2017 onwards. I think that was good, but like now they have to integrate TV shows now as well. And
I honestly would be fine. Like the most I could probably handle and be fine with would probably be 3 movies, 2 TV shows.
I think so.
Because you could do a movie at the beginning of the year, have a TV show to branch that and the summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
Have the summer blockbuster and then have another TV show to branch between that and an end of the year movie.
Yeah. That sounds like a healthy formula. And also they wouldn't have to cram down so much pressure onto their TV show studios,
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure, like, I know, like, the pandemic had stuff to do with it, like, nothing came out in 2020 and all, so maybe they're just kind of, like, cramming everything into 2021, like, at least the early projects. Like, I know I know for a fact Black Widow and Eternals were supposed to be 2020, but that didn't happen.
No.
So they just had to push it back to 2021. And that's it. But initially, they were going to have 4 movies for 2022. Then Kevin Feige, learning what a calendar was, like only a month of a calendar, he lost May, just like Peter. Yeah, he. There were supposed to be 4 movies coming out this year. Now he's pushed it to 3 movies, which is good. That's better. That's healthier. And I don't know about the TV show stuff, because at the time of this recording, we still don't have dates for any of the TV shows. Like, the ones that are supposed to happen this year are Moon Knight, She-Hulk, Secret Invasion, and I think the Guardians Holiday Special as well.
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not as bad as the Star Wars one.
Yeah, I think that's supposed to be a thing this year, or it could be next year. I have to double check that one. But
all I know is that Morbius is supposedly coming on April Fools, and Marvel and Doctor Strange Mom is coming out. And I think it's May now.
It's May now. Yeah. We're not going to get another movie till May, which is great.
We get a break. Kind of.
We
get a Marvel break.
Yeah, I think Marvel burnout is going to be a thing, and I don't know about you, Brian, but I'm kind of open to the idea that, like, as I grow older, I might grow out of, like, enjoying superhero movies.
It is possible. I honestly feel like, I like the idea of long form narrative in films, because I mean it's shown that it can work, but I feel like in order for those to be enjoyed to the fullest, they have to do them in segments. Like we like, if they would have ended with the Infinity Saga and like stopped with Far From Home, then I think that would have been a like fine conclusion. Like
for like a couple years.
Yeah, for like a couple years.
Did appreciate,
and then like maybe start a new franchise. You could either restart. You could either restart with because of like a younger demographic. You could make it more dark for older generations. It gives you a chance to restart. Whether you decide to do something new with it or something, or like continue on, it at least gives you a few years. And the reason why I would like something like that is just so long form narrative doesn't take over the movie. The movie world, because I am sensing, as like, especially with No Way Home's hype, and like with how well No Way Home did, I am sensing that it is possible for superhero films and even like long form narrative films to just completely take over cinema.
I think so, and I think you saw some early aspects of that as well before even Infinity War and Endgame were encapsulated.
Yeah, because like, now, like, if you look at trailers, they have slowly been starting to be like there have slowly been starting to be more and more like superhero themed movies, and less like original ideas or even like different ideas.
Well, I think the blockbuster movie has always been a thing, and then like the movies that win all the Oscars nobody actually watches. I think that's always been a thing. It's just like, I'm more specifically talking about like every other franchise trying to do their own form of long form storytelling, like the DCEU, for example.
Okay, like beside ignoring all of its bad points, which is a lot, but like when it comes to the idea of DC making a like MCU type thing, it makes sense because they also have comics to take inspiration from. Right. Like they have other forms of long form narrative that they can adapt and create. So it makes sense why DC would try.
But I think like the point with that is like Man of Steel came out in 2013, and there's a 3-year gap between that one and Batman v Superman, which leads me to think I don't think Man of Steel was supposed to be a Kickstarter for a DCEU.
Neither do I. I honestly would have rather accepted a Man of Steel 2 than a Batman v Superman.
Back to like not even DCEU, like you mentioned to me, I don't know when, there's this Mummy movie that was supposed to kickstart a whole universe.
Yeah, so Universal tried to make their own like extended universe, like if you watch The Mummy and you see the Universal logo, it will eventually, the camera then pans around it to show Dark Universe. But no, like, because literally The Mummy spends most of its time setting up like a horror monster movie. Like, remember like the early monster movies? They're basically setting up that again. So like there's references to like a Dr. Frankenstein. You can see references, like there's a reference to a Wolfman. You can see the Invisible Man's formula in like the background. Russell Crowe plays Dr. Jekyll, who eventually becomes Mr. Hyde. And I'm just like, literally, like, I mean, Universal like started the long form narrative storytelling back in those days, because they did have like appearances where like they had like Dracula and Mummy, or like it was like Dracula and like the Wolfman. Like they had team up films back in the day. Like Universal literally started it. Don't try to copy it. But yeah, no, that's what The Mummy did. That's why that's part of the reason why it did so terribly. That, and people just didn't care about a Mummy reboot with Tom Cruise.
Okay, wow.
Yeah, it is hilariously dumb.
That is very dumb, yeah. Okay, so out of all the 2021 MCU TV shows that we got all this year, I said that twice. Like, how would you rank them?
Number 1 would probably be WandaVision, just because it's the most unique out of all the shows, in my opinion. With like the way that it's like set up and the way that its story is told, in my opinion, it's the most unique. Followed by Loki and Hawkeye are like pretty much tied. And for including What If would probably go underneath that. Well, actually, if we include What If, I think it would go WandaVision, Loki, What If, Hawkeye, Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that seems kind of similar to my list too. I'd put a trash can right next to Falcon and Winter Soldier. Because that's how I do it. Like, whenever I do listings and just like a game or movie that I happen to like is at the bottom, like it doesn't mean that I hate it. It just means I prefer a lot of things over it. But so that's why I have to distinguish by putting a trash can right next to it on my list right there. So yeah, that sounds pretty much the same to me. Like I've been trying to debate like my whole thoughts about What If just generally, because like WandaVision and Loki were seriously good. Those were like the best things that we got this year. And so, but like also What If is in there, and it's so radically different from everything else. I don't know where to put it on my list, but probably for the sake of it, I probably would put it at number 3 as well. You know, because WandaVision, again, is very unique. I think Loki would be at the top of my list if it were complete, because we know that season 2 is going to happen. So I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think it's going to happen next year. I'm not sure when exactly, because I know it's not Loki season 2. Oh yeah, and also movies. I think it's kind of self-explanatory, even with every other MCU fan out here. No Way Home, Shang-Chi, Black Widow, Eternals. I think that's pretty much a universal list for every MCU fan this year. Any closing thoughts for us here today, Brian?
Not that has already been said.
Alrighty then, so yeah, that was our season summary of the Hawkeye TV show, the new MCU TV show that was just released on Disney Plus a while ago. So we hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys out there who did watch it actually found something very interesting or very likable to find about this movie, and that's great for you. You're probably seeing something that I'm not, because I found this movie to be really boring. But I hope you guys had fun with this movie. Like, there are bits and pieces here for me, but just generally, not for me. Probably won't watch it again. Just fun bits on the internets. But that's it. You guys have yourselves a fantastic night, and take care.
Adios.